Hi guys, welcome to the first Instagram live of Young Urban Project. I have a very special guest and a close friend joining me today for this live. We are going to be discussing a lot about artificial intelligence. What is it? What are the concerns about it? Are the concerns true about it? And we are going to also discuss what is the impact of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all the allied topics. How are they going to impact digital marketing, and how are they going to impact the jobs and careers in digital marketing? I'm going to invite my friend Vijay to join this. Let's say hello to Vijay.
Hello,
Hey, hi
hi everyone.
Vijay.
Hello,
How
hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm
Thank
good
you
too,
for
Vijay.
thank you for inviting me to the live session, and thanks everyone who has joined the live session for tuning in.
Thank you, Vijay, for coming and agreeing to address a lot of these burning topics that are out there in the industry. We are hearing a lot about artificial intelligence, machine learning. I'm also going to keep saying hello, Santosh. Uh, so everyone, please say a hi to Vijay. Hello, Deepthi.
Hello, hi
Hello,
everyone. Hi.
Hello, H. Gokan. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So, Vijay, uh, hello, Prasuna Rani. So, Vijay, let's move on to the topic. We only
Yes.
have a 30-minute window. Hey, Janvi, we are going to talk before we get into how digital marketing impacts, you know, how artificial intelligence impacts digital marketing. Let's first understand what artificial intelligence is. Hi, Dinesh. Hi, Merlin. Hi, Kaushal. So, for common public, the kind of image about digital marketing kind of comes from movies. We've been seeing artificial intelligence being represented in movies like Terminator, in Matrix, and a lot
Right.
of TV shows. And to be very honest, the positioning that movies, Hollywood has done for artificial intelligence isn't very positive. There are always a lot of when there was Terminator, there was Skynet, which was the artificial intelligence system that decides to take over the world. So why don't you help us understand what exactly is artificial intelligence, and how is it changing the world, and how is it going to change the world in the future?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Puneet, for the nice question. Thanks everyone for joining in and tuning into the live session. So artificial intelligence, in my perspective, is something that can be learned from data, right? So given huge amounts of data, tremendous amounts of data, right? If an AI model can understand and behave like a human-like way, that is what AI is. There is a lot of misconception about AI being a magical tool, like you said, from the Hollywood perspective,
Yeah.
Matrix, Terminator, these kind of movies. But I kind of want to dispel this myth that AI is a magical tool. It is not. It is something very scientific, and AI can be used to apply to solve a lot of business problems. It can be used to kind of solve the real world business problems, make revenue to the organizations, help the customers, kind of give better query resolutions, provide employee satisfaction, provide customer satisfaction. So there are a lot of things that can be done using AI, and it's definitely not a magical tool, like what Hollywood kind of portrays it. To a certain extent, it is true what can be achieved going forward, but at this point of time, I think it is a very scientific tool, and the myth about thinking about it as a magical tool is not correct.
Okay, so from what I understand, AI is not a magical tool. It's not a conscious thing that is trying to take over the world. So what AI is it's just a technology that allows us to do the tasks that we had been doing. It allows us to do those tasks more efficiently. It
Yes.
reduces the amount of time that is required to execute those tasks because it can automate and do those tasks automatically. Uh, Vijay, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going to draw an analogy from the past. So earlier, a lot of industry was pretty much, handled by hand. A lot of things, all the products used to be made by hand, whether it was
Correct.
carpets or any other things. So later on, when the machines came in, when the industrial revolution happened, so what industries did is they, made those processes faster. So if you are creating, let's say, a carpet or a piece of fabric, a machine could then do the same thing in a lesser time and better, because that's where the mass production came into being. So the handcrafted industry then turned into the machine driven industry, and now the machines are further getting more efficient by the use of artificial intelligence, which is like a brain that we are putting inside the machines. So all in all, artificial intelligence is something that's going to help us do the same tasks in a better way, in an efficient way, uh, and that's it. So tell me something. How is AI now changing industries as a whole? So you've talked about efficiency, but could you give some examples on how this is happening?
Yes, yes, I absolutely agree with your comment, Puneet. I don't want to mention the fancy lines like AI is the new electricity, data is the new oil. Like we have been hearing all about it for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
What happened in 20th century was electricity was an enabler tool, and over electricity, a lot of cool appliances were built, a lot of new inventions came in. So electricity was that enabler in 20th century, wherein we could build a lot of cool and useful things for the humanity. I believe 21st century, is something where AI will be an enabler tool, and we as humans can build a lot of cool applications, a lot of interesting and useful applications to help the society and humanity. We can take a couple of examples. For example, we just have this mobile device. We can, just talk to Google, or we can just talk to Siri, and then converse with it to perform certain set of actions. Right? What's
yeah,
happening here is where the speech of the humans is getting converted to text, and the text is understood by the machines. So these are AI models that are within the phones and within the cloud, right? So these are performing the actions for us.
yeah,
Similarly, you can take an example of the retail industry or the e-commerce industry. You can take an example of Amazon.
hmm,
If you go to your landing page on Amazon, it kind of gives you or recommends you a lot of specific products based on your browsing history, based on your wish listed items, or based
yeah,
on your previous order history, right? So this is how there are product recommendation engines that are within the Amazon cloud, and then which are helping us to recommend better, which are helping the Amazon to recommend better.
yeah.
Estimates suggest that around 35% of the revenue comes from the right set of product recommendation engines in Amazon.
Oh,
Yes, yes, 35%. And comparing, just visualize the size of Amazon. It's a huge
yeah,
amount, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes. And again, in the BFSI industries, for example, in the financial services, banking, insurance sectors, AI is heavily used to understand the risk of a customer, whether a particular customer is highly risky or low risk customer or medium risk customer, right?
hmm,
You can understand the portfolio of a customer, whether someone is risky or not in the financial institutions.
okay,
AI can be used in healthcare also, for example, to diagnose the certain types of cancer. And
hmm,
AI, as of today, can detect certain types of cancer, much better than some of the best doctors in the world, right? Also, AI can be used in the manufacturing industries. Let's say BMW company can have an AI model which can figure out the defective products, before kind of releasing it to the
yeah,
customer.
yeah,
If the AI model can find out X percent of defective products, it means that X percent of customers are avoided from being unhappy, right? So that's a
okay,
huge impact again on the manufacturing industries. And one more cool application that I see these days is the facial recognition technology, right? Robotics, computer vision applications, which are like everywhere, face recognition technology and stuff like that. So these are a couple of applications that we see across the AI, across different industries, and how
right.
AI has disrupted a lot of industries. I can't think of any industry which cannot be disrupted by AI as of today. I feel every industry will be disrupted, and these already some of them have already been disrupted by AI.
Okay, so one of the followers, Anmol Puri, is who also happens to be my friend, has kind of listed a few more areas that are kind of being affected by AI. So he's talked about Amazon Go, which I'm guessing is the cashless
Cashless
retail
consumption.
experience. Yeah. So there is self-driving cars, which we all know Tesla and Google and a lot of other companies are developing.
Right.
You've mentioned autonomous weapon systems. Okay. Yes, that's great. We'll not talk about weapons here. But Anmol has a question. His question is that can we say AI is computer system doing things that normally need human intelligence? So I'll just rephrase the question. Can AI do everything that a human can do?
I won't say everything. So it can do a lot of things that a human can do at this point of time, but it won't be doing everything. For example, we can take the example of Amazon Go itself, right? What AI system does is it will identify the person and then where the person is moving within the Amazon Go stores, and the
Yeah.
person can pick up any item in from the store, right? And the person can just walk out from the store.
Yeah.
But the AI system might not be able to completely understand if an item is stacked behind one more item. So these are some places where the system might fail, right?
Okay.
Or maybe in few places AI cannot understand sarcasm. Let's say some people can have a very terrible experience with a chatbot, and then at the end of the conversation they might say, "Oh, it's a great chatbot." That's a sarcastic statement.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The AI model would not detect sarcasm at this moment. So there are few limitations with AI for
So,
sure.
so I want to mention an example that happened with me in real life. So, I also used to look at online reputation management, which is the queries that come on Twitter for a lot of brands. So, one of the brands had kind of implemented this artificial intelligence driven Twitter response tool, which would respond to users and then categorize whether this tweet was positive, negative, or neutral. So a user once wrote that your vacuum cleaner sucks. Your vacuum cleaner sucks, right? So now a vacuum cleaner is supposed to suck things, right? So what happened was this is where the AI couldn't categorize it as a positive query. So what it did was it categorized as a as a neutral query, but it was actually now that also depends on where at the stage of learning is the algorithm at.
Right.
There is an evolution happening and there is better training that's happening, and with NLP being developed so rapidly. So
Correct.
NLP for everyone is natural language processing. This is what Siri or Alexa they make use of, where when you say things they can understand how you speak in a normal human language instead of giving a
Right.
command. So that's what NLP does. So I'm just going to say hello to a few people. Superboy, UV, Yuvraj, hello. Who Vaibhav, hello. I okay. Ajay, hello. Ria Shivani, hello. Pooja. Okay, so there is a question from
Mhm.
Superboy. He's asking AI is costly and it'll be used and ruled only by filthy rich. What do you have to say about that?
I think AI is getting democratized. Just like how the DTH connections or the electricity board they were getting democratized. I think AI is getting democratized. So thanks
Okay.
to Google, thanks to Amazon, thanks to IBM Watson, they're kind of making all these AI capabilities much cheaper on the cloud infrastructure. So
Yeah.
basically, why did we think of AI before, like a couple of decades back? Because we didn't have a lot of data, and we had the algorithms back then as well, but we didn't
Hmm.
have the data, right amount of data. I mean, large data sets, and we didn't have the compute resources. In the last couple of years, we have generated so much of data through lots of devices, lots of internet devices and stuff like that. And we have the right set of hardware and the compute resources. So that's why we can see the real impact of AI. And Google, Amazon, IBM, these companies being the giants in the IT industry, they have enormous amounts of data, literally, petabytes of data piled up together with these companies. So
Sure.
they have this huge amount of data, corpus of data, and then they have the hardware or the compute resources, so they can make AI possible. And then what they're doing is they're trying to kind of put up everything on the cloud so that it can be available for everyone. So all
Yeah.
you have to do is to kind of give your credit card details, log into Google Cloud or AWS account and stuff like that, and you can play with a lot of AI capabilities. So
Yeah.
they're very
So
cheap. They're very cheap.
So yeah, so just to give you an example, we all there's a surge in the number of Google Home and Alexa devices. An Alexa speaker only costs you. It starts at 3,000 rupees or even 2.5 grand. That's what an Alexa speaker, and that's AI. And people have it everywhere in their homes right now. So I don't think, and by the way, anyone can go out and develop the Alexa skills. That you could develop that for your own podcast or website or anything that you're planning for. So that's all making use of AI. So if you develop a skill, Alexa is going to use AI to make your skill possible, right? So I don't think AI is going to be only for the filthy rich. I think you're right, Vijay. It's getting democratized, and it's going to get really cheap in the future with
Going forward, definitely.
more open source kind of technologies coming in. I think we are going to see a surge in technology, companies that are using AI. Okay, the next question is by Webhub. Who Vaibhav? Sir, which is the best chatbot till date? Can we answer this question? Which is the best
Uh,
chatbot?
I believe chatbots are something that are made for a specific purpose. So there are
Yeah,
general utility chatbots. For example, Alexa, it's a general utility voice bot basically, but
yeah,
essentially you can think of it like a chatbot also. But I believe chatbots are the best when they are tailored for a specific use case. Let's say
yeah,
if you want to address certain queries related to a particular credit card industry, right? You
yeah.
kind of tailor your chatbot to answer those queries. It works best if it is to a particular specific use case, right? If you kind of
Right.
wanted to make it very general, like Alexa is, I think, Google Home or Alexa is the best chatbot out there.
Okay. Okay. So I have a question from Anudeep Shetty. It's you can see that on the screen.
Yeah.
How AI and data science can be used for digital marketing? What techniques can be specifically used? So a lot of our audiences is inclined towards digital marketing, advertising. So everyone who has questions about digital marketing, please shoot, please ask, and we will try to answer them to the best of our capacity. So Vijay, can you see this question on the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. How
Okay.
AI and data science can be used for digital marketing? What techniques can be specifically used? So before I answer this question, we can discuss about what all areas of digital marketing can AI have a relevant role, and then we
Yeah.
can come back to this question after this. So I believe there are like at least 5, 6 areas where AI can play a relevant role in terms of digital marketing. One thing could be the real-time customer support, right?
Okay.
We were just discussing about the chatbots, right? AI-enabled chatbots have been in the industry for a while, and they've been doing a tremendous job. So
Yeah.
they have literally reduced the turnaround time or the query resolution time from hours to almost real time, right? And they internally use NLP, natural language processing techniques, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Anudeep was asking. They use natural language processing techniques, which is again an AI subset that can be used to answer the customer queries.
Yeah.
Similarly, on the same context, there is voice bots also.
Yeah.
Voice bots kind of, I believe voice is an emerging technology in the next few years. I think people have moved from a traditional calling up the customer support to a typing on the mobile or chatting with the chatbots and stuff like that, and they're
Yeah.
moving to a more voice-based search or a voice-based query resolution
Okay.
services.
Just stopping you here. For everyone who's listening, voice is the future. So voice search is growing crazy. So Google is reporting a rapid increase in the number of voice searches. So anybody who's looking to develop a tool, or especially for the SEO people, search engine optimization people, start taking voice seriously. Sorry, go ahead with you.
Yes, absolutely. Like voice is emerging tech, and then it definitely impacts SEO for the vocal search and stuff like that. A lot of people would just want to talk to their phones rather than typing in anything or just calling the call center. So voice
Yeah.
is definitely going to be the emerging tech. And we have voice assistants like Alexa, Google Home. We have already discussed about the skills that you can create for your podcast or for any credit card application, stuff like that. You can publish them on Alexa, and then the customers could interact with that skill. Also, in the same lines are avatars. I
Yeah.
could call them as voice avatars or something like that. So these avatars are humanoid bots that can be hosted on the websites or on the
Yeah.
mobile
Yeah.
applications, and then you can converse with these humanoid bots in a very human-like way. So I
Yeah.
believe these are few things that are kind of making it possible for a real-time customer support.
Right.
Another area that I believe that digital marketing would have very relevance in AI would be in terms of how predictive analytics is being used to understand the customer behavior or the consumer behavior.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations, they collect huge amount of data of the customers, what customer is doing in every interaction, what action they're doing, what are they clicking on, and etc. So all this data is being stored by the companies. So companies can use this repository of data to kind of understand the customer better. Also, they can identify the potential buyers even before they kind of approach them. So this is again a very lucrative area for AI ML in digital marketing, kind of using predictive analytics to understand the customer behavior.
Sure.
Another thing I feel is the content relevance searching. Basically, what I mean is,
Vijay, we'll come to content part of it later because that's something we want to discuss separately.
all right,
How AI will impact copywriting and creative fields. So that's something we'll take a little later. We'll
all
just
right.
quickly answer a couple of questions. Superboy UV has asked, has mentioned AI will never understand memes. So I I don't know. So Vijay, do you think AI will be able to understand memes? Because
Going
memes
forward.
is the new language that the millennials and the Gen Zs are using. Do you think AI will be able to understand? Okay, this is a meme and this is a brand creative. Can that happen?
I think going forward, definitely yes, to a certain extent.
Okay.
Maybe just supply the AI model with enough number of memes. It will probably
Okay.
create a nice meme for you.
Okay, so Vijay says that AI might even be able to create memes and not just understand them. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say a few hellos to Pick with Nick, Malipu Gush, Shobha. Hello Shobha. Hi Ruchira. Uh, Hi Ajay. Okay, Ajay has a question. He's asking, how does Instagram deduct that no two users get the same username? Okay, I'll answer this because this is not pertaining to AI. So Ajay, if you understand Excel or databases a little bit, there is something called a primary key. So if there is a table in which the first column has the username and the other column has the name of the person, uh, anybody or Instagram or you can also do that. You can ensure that no two rows in the column have the same value. So in Instagram's case, if the username is, let's say my username is Young Urban Project for this account, so if it's taken once, Instagram will make sure that it doesn't, another user cannot take the same username. So that's not much to do with AI. That's more to do with database management. It's called a primary key. You could look this up. So hello, Born Devil. Hello, Shrey. Shrey, good friend. Shrey has just joined. Tulsi has joined. Okay, I have a question from Kaushal. Kaushal is asking, AI is going to kill the more jobs in future, but also creating more software and easy to use methods. So what do you think, Vijay? Is AI going to kill more jobs in the future?
It's a very very interesting question. I'm
Yeah.
like really interested to answer this piece of question. What I personally think is AI is definitely going to kill those jobs which are very basic and which are repetitive in nature. So it would definitely kind of destroy these jobs which are repetitive in nature. For example, if the job is to kind of aggregate information based on like 5 or 6 reports, right? It's a very mundane, routine, repetitive task. So this is something that can be clearly automated. Or for example, a testing role which is very functional in nature. Let's say you have 10 rules and then you have to follow all these 10 rules to kind of give a sign off to a particular thing. Rule number one, rule number two, and so on, right? This is very repetitive in nature. So all these repetitive jobs, would definitely be, taken away by AI because these are things that can be clearly automated using a lot of AI models as well as
Right.
robotic process automation techniques, right? So there would definitely be a change in the number of staff for these kind of jobs. But having said that, wherever the jobs are, very creative in nature, or wherever there is strategy involved, or wherever there is decision making involved, or wherever there is human touch, which is absolutely necessary, right? The AI models cannot understand the sarcasm. Like there is a human touch, which is absolutely necessary. So all these kinds of strategy, decision making, wherever human touch is required, these roles are definitely going to be there, and all these creative fields will be there for sure.
So just to add to this, this question was by Kaushal. So I have been working in the digital space for a while now, and when we started off, Just to give everyone a context on what this means and what kind of jobs are the repetitive jobs. So there used to be a job role whose job was just to go through the Facebook insights, Twitter insights, and Instagram insights and pull out data and create visual graphs out of it and show whether the followers are increasing, engagement is increasing or decreasing. Compare it with different brands. So there used to be a person, it could be an account manager or an account executive or a special analytics role that used to only do this. Now what's happening is with the new technology and a lot of these AI driven analytic tools, even for social media out there, you don't have to create the reports anymore manually. So what these tools do is you just put in your page names and the competitor page names. It will automatically pull out the data using Facebook, Twitter API, and then create graphs and visualize all the data for you. So you can directly go in and present that data in a boardroom. So and what it does is, because it's completely automated, there is a very low chance of error in that.
Right,
So
right.
that's just to put some context. This is one job that's got automated. But like Vijay said, there are creative fields and the strategy roles that are still, safe from AI for a long time. So content writers, copywriters, art visualizers, animators, and strategy people who create a strategy. What should a brand's tonality be like? How should a brand talk to people? How should a
Right.
brand react in crisis? So just to bring in, whenever there's a crisis, that's where a human touch needs to be involved. How does a brand respond to a crisis? Because if a crisis has never happened before, there is no historical data to learn from for the machine. And that's where humans, advertisers, or any strategy people, they have to sit together and choose the based on human understanding, they have to choose the best way forward. Okay, I'm going to
Right.
take there's another question by Cosmic Nomad. So his question is, everyone is talking about machine learning and deep learning, but can you elaborate on symbolic learning? Now, Vijay, I'll just rephrase this question. Could you explain in one line what is machine learning and what's the difference between machine learning and deep learning in just one simple way? And then we'll talk about what is symbolic learning.
Yeah. So deep learning is something that is associated with neural networks, wherein you need lots and lots of amount of data to kind of make AI work. Whereas machine learning is basically the set of statistical tools to kind of solve a particular problem. So there is an overlap between these two also, but deep learning is something which requires the usage of neural networks. I can go more technical, but I don't think this is the scope of the discussion here.
Yeah. Okay, so what is symbolic learning? I didn't understand what symbolic learning.
Can you just rephrase that one? I am not sure
Yes,
what that is.
so the question is, everyone is talking about machine learning and deep learning, but can you elaborate on symbolic learning?
Uh,
I've not heard about what symbolic learning is.
Same here, same here.
So Cosmic Nomad, we'll have to, if we are missing on this, we'll have to take a read, and we'll get back to you probably through
Yeah,
an Instagram story. We'll get back to you on this. Okay,
yeah.
moving on to the next question. Minen Chandrakar is saying, please share this live video. Of course, we'll do that, Minen. Uh, Anudeep Shetty says, thank you for answering the question. You're welcome, Anudeep. The next question is from Anant James. Can SEO be improved with AI? Now, Vijay, do you want to take this question or should I take this?
You can take it up.
Okay, so Anant, SEO is one of those fields which is based on kind of rules, and there is a repetitive process that is involved in SEO. So whether it's on page or off page, there are a set of rules that you have to follow. These are called the SEO hygienes. Now there are a lot of things in SEO that I would have said that can be automated, but honestly, they are already being automated. There are tools, already AI tools in the market that allow you to automate your search engine optimization process to a great extent. And this is only going to get better in the future. So, apart from scouting websites where you can do guest posting, identifying and negotiating deals, apart from that, there is a lot of repetitive processes in SEO which are bound to be automated. So SEO will become way more efficient, faster with the use of AI in the future. The next question, yeah, sorry.
I'll just like to add something on the SEO thing. I believe vocal search would be the next biggest thing even in SEO. And
Yeah,
even if even if a user kind of searches a query, right? I think the NLP is getting much more advanced to kind of identify the relevant context. For example, I can give you for example, you can think of something like I'm sitting in a bank versus I'm sitting at a river bank. Both of
yeah,
these are two different contexts, right? So the NLP is, developing and maturing enough to kind of understand these differences so that your
yeah.
SEO would be much more optimized and more relevant.
So yes, SEO can be greatly improved using AI. That's
Yes.
to answer your question, Anant. Uh, Pick with Nick is asking, can AI destroy digital marketing jobs? I think this is an ongoing discussion that we'll keep doing during this
Yes.
conversation. So Rishabh Gupta has asked, as you mentioned, democratization of AI services. What do you think about career in AI domain? Will it still be relevant since most of the solutions will already be available? Okay, now this question is like asking, there are, everyone knows English. Does it
Hmm.
still make sense to teach English or, write a book in English? So, Rishabh, the idea here is that when the democratization happens, it empowers, gives the power to develop more technology and evolve the whole technology as a whole together in the hands of everyone. So democratization doesn't mean that it's going to take away opportunities for developing it further. I think it will enhance the size of the universe that you can play around with. So the more people that are, the larger the community size of AI developers, the more opportunities and the more evolution that is going to happen in the AI space. So in my opinion, uh, it's a great time to get into, if you want to get into data science or artificial intelligence. Vijay, what do you think?
I think that's a great question. Rishabh Gupta is a close friend of mine.
Okay.
So I think the question is very relevant. I kind of see that the curve might get flattened after a decade or so, or maybe in
Yeah.
5, 6 years, because if AI is kind of democratized, most of the control would be in the big IT giants or companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, right? They would have a
Yeah.
lot of data to kind of reinvent themselves, and then they can build huge AI models that can be used by every one of us. So maybe after a decade or something, I can see the curve flattening.
Okay. But do you think it's a good time to learn machine learning, artificial intelligence?
Definitely, yes, definitely. Yes. Because AI is applicable for every industry. Like I already mentioned, I cannot think of any industry which cannot be disrupted by AI. So
Okay.
learning AI is obviously one of the best things that you can possibly do. I'm really
So
excited to be a part of this revolution right now.
yeah. So to share this with an anecdote with everyone who's watching this, I am inherently an advertising and a digital marketing guy, and Vijay kind of introduced me to artificial intelligence and data science, and thanks to him, all my, I started learning artificial intelligence, data science at a basic and intermediate level, and Vijay has guided me through the process. Uh, so also to give some history here, Vijay and I used to be flatmates back in the day. We used to hang out, go
Yes.
out for, we used to learn from each other a lot. And today we are in, I'm in Mumbai. Vijay has moved to Bangalore, and now he's at home due to the crisis that's happening. But just
Yes.
to give a perspective that I was nowhere near data science. I hadn't touched mathematics after my 10th class. I only used mathematics wherever it's required in digital marketing for analytics and stuff. But I started learning calculus again. I started learning statistics and a lot of other things. And Vijay has guided me through. Now, just to add, I'm not an expert in AI. I only have a working understanding so that I can talk to experts like Vijay. I have that level of understanding, but I'm not an expert. So please, if you have any expert level AI questions, please shoot. This is the best live chat you will go through or attend throughout. There are a lot of people talking about AI and machine learning, but unfortunately, none of them have actually done it. So it's all, they've read it on blogs, seen a lot of YouTube videos. So, this live chat allows you to talk to someone who's actually doing it day in, day out. Vijay has been instrumental in developing some crazy technology. We will not be able to talk about that technology that Vijay is working on here due to NDAs,
Confidential issue. Yes.
confidential things. But if you have any other questions like what kind of technology could you work in? If you need some product ideas, please share them with Vijay, and let's take it from there. So Udayveer is asking, do you think a course on AI integrated with digital marketing is better than a traditional MBA in marketing? Vijay, what do you think?
I think it would be more relevant in the current times.
Okay.
But what I also feel is like, you need not probably do a particular course to kind of get well versed with it. There is so much of content that is available online. You could just register for a free course and kind of, get hands-on experience on different utilities and stuff like that. But courses are also a good way to kind of get a structured understanding of different concepts. My personal suggestion would be to kind of look up various online resources that are already available for free, and probably talk to some of them who are already practicing it. Probably like
Yeah.
you, someone like you who's already in the field and who has expertise on digital marketing and stuff like that. But if you want to kind of get a synergy of AI and digital marketing, I believe you can, kind of look up how AI can impact businesses. I'm not telling you to learn AI, but how AI can be used in digital marketing. You can probably look up various tools that are already available online and stuff like that to get started. And please talk to someone in the industry. I think that feedback is the most important thing that you can ever get.
So Vijay, could you name a couple of places where people can learn online, learn about data science AI online?
Yes, yes. My first suggestion would be the Coursera one, machine learning by Andrew Ng. Andrew Ng is like one of my, what do you call, the guru, you call. So he's a faculty member at Stanford. He has machine learning module, deep learning module, and AI for business. So machine learning, deep learning, they're high on math, high on statistics, but there is a third course called as AI for business. I think this is very much relevant to how you can, solve a lot of industry problems and stuff like that. This is probably one of the best courses that is available online to get a fair understanding of how AI can be used to solve some of the real world business problems.
So if you are a beginner who has no idea about AI but just wants to, get a taste of it, so these are some of the courses that Vijay has mentioned. There's another course by the same guy on Coursera, Andrew Yang. The course is called AI for Everyone. Now
Mhm.
that course is absolute basic. It just
Yes.
gives you what is machine learning, what is deep learning. If there was a fundamental first course that we would have suggested you, I think that would be it. And once you've got a taste of what it is, then you could move to AI for business and the other courses that Vijay has mentioned. There are also some websites which allow you to learn machine learning by practicing. There is this
Yes.
website called DataCamp,
Okay.
which is where I learned it from. DataCamp is currently, due to COVID-19, they have an annual discount. They are actually giving the whole thing uh, uh, for a year just for a 1 month price. So it's a great website. There's also Code Academy, and there are more such websites that you could go through. Okay, I'm taking another question by Dinesh. Would a decision making, so the question is, would a decision making learning machine that perceives and records memories with a complexity comparable to a human be conscious? Is our insistence that we are not just biological machines doing why? Okay, I did not understand this question, but I'm just trying to understand. I think Dinesh means so if a machine is collecting data and perceiving data
Hmm,
through the
hmm.
records that it is created, can a machine be called conscious or become conscious in the future? Is our existence, does that
I
mean
kind
that
of
we are also, okay, is there an analogy between humans and machines? If machines start behaving and uh, thinking about data like how humans do?
yes, yes.
Dinesh,
I think
please correct if we are on the right track.
right. There is a concept called as singularity, wherein the machine intelligence surpasses the human intelligence. I believe this is going to come really soon, maybe in 1 or 2 decades for sure. I think Dinesh is probably asking about that. Singularity is a concept where machine intelligence surpasses the human intelligence, and machines can probably behave more like humans and probably better than humans at doing tasks. And to kind of give an example for this, why it is not possible at this moment, let's say you're getting feedback from a lot of places. You get feedback from the chatbots, you get feedback from the ads, you get feedback from the surveys, you get feedback from the emails. There are tons of sources, tons of touch points where you can get feedback from. And a machine learning or an AI model can give you the sentiment of this feedback. Oh, these are the set of customers who are given a positive rating. These are the set of customers who are given negative set of rating. Now you can identify, let's say, 10 issues from the negative set of ratings. But a machine learning model might not be able to kind of prioritize, take a strategy, or make any decisions on how do you kind of address these 10 issues. I mean,
Right.
it is another flow that is something very human needs to come in. So some sort of decision making still relies with the human at this moment, but maybe there could be a time going forward, maybe in a decade or so, wherein the singularity could happen. I'm just very optimistic about it.
So, whatever you've seen in the Hollywood movies where machines have gained their own sentience or the consciousness, that is what singularity is. In true senses, that is very far from where we are right now. There is a divided set of people like there's Elon Musk and there is Jack Ma who are completely contradictory on the views, whether this should happen and will this happen, or it should not happen and it won't happen. So that's the kind of divide there is. But that's a larger ethical discussion which we won't be able to have here. But yes, we are while theoretically the concept of singularity exists, but in real life we are very far from it. We are at very nascent stages of even
Agree.
where AI can be. Okay, the
Yes.
next question. Okay, I'll just take one of the question from the question box. Okay, now this question is by Crickover Official. So should someone start pursuing digital marketing right now or not? The
Why
question
not?
is, why
Why
not?
not?
Okay, this is something I would probably take. Uh, Digital marketing as a career is not going to die. AI is here to make digital marketing better, make it more efficient, and to give more bang for buck for advertisers and brands who are spending money. AI is not out there to take away the jobs. There will still be a need for human intervention throughout the process, like we had discussed some time back, uh, whether where content and strategy and creative fields are untouched as of now, but there are going to be changes in the industry, digital marketing industry. There will be disruption, but the industry is not going anywhere. Some fields that I feel that are very prone to getting affected are, you need to understand what part of digital marketing are you talking about, because digital marketing is a large umbrella. There is social
Yes.
media, there's SEO, paid ads. I feel paid ads, which is Facebook advertising, Google advertising, that's the highest, that's got the highest risk of disruption. And that's already happening. The platforms are already using AI to make your ads better. But there used to be a time where there used to be people sitting and optimizing ads, changing budgets, and viewing the dashboard all day long. And now today, you do a macro level targeting, and the algorithm does it by itself. You don't have to
Hmm.
do that micro targeting anymore. The algorithm has better understanding of the audience there is, or that's what they want to believe, want us to believe. But what my belief is that the platforms are going to take more control away from advertisers and users and ask them only to work on strategy and the ROI and not on the operations. So paid marketing is something that stands. I mean, this is my opinion that it stands a high risk of getting disrupted. Uh, okay, that's the question for. I'm going to take the next question by. Okay, so we have answered Dinesh's question. Dinesh says, thanks, you're welcome, Dinesh. Superboy UV asks, can AI write non-plagiarized content? So that's,
Uh,
I think, pertaining to NLP.
yes. I think it can do it. There is a concept called as natural language generation. So
Yeah.
basically, what it does is from structured data, it can kind of create a document for you. But given enough structured data, I think it would be able to write non-plagiarized content. But I really doubt about its accuracy to a great extent.
Yes.
But it is somewhere towards that aspect. It is possible to write to a 70-80% kind of accuracy.
So UV, while the content can be written and it will be better than what your article spinners are giving out, this will be better than that. But our belief is that you'll still need a human to proofread it and
Yes.
go through whether the context is correct or not, because content could have multiple meanings, and content is a sensitive topic when it comes to advertising. So you will still need human intervention even if AI is creating content. The next question we're going to take. Okay, Dinesh is asking, I'm a future MBA graduate. How can I integrate myself with AI? So I'll just answer this quickly, Dinesh. We have already mentioned some websites that you can start and some online courses on Coursera that you can start taking to get a hang of what AI is. And if you feel that that interests you further, go to websites like DataCamp, Code Academy, and start taking up these elaborate courses. And that would help you while you're doing your MBA. This will allow you to get acquainted with AI. There's a question by H. Gokarn. She's asking, do we need to know programming and coding for AI? Definitely yes. H. Gokarn, definitely yes. There are two languages that are most popular. So sorry, Vijay, I'll just show off my data science knowledge here.
Yeah, go on.
So, there are two languages that are most popular for writing, code when it comes to data science. One is called Python, the other is called R. Uh, Python is probably the most, highly used language when it comes. It's very easy to learn. If you have learned any previous languages like C++ or any of the other languages, I think you'll find it way easier to learn this particular language, because this is in coding terms, this is like writing normal English. So it's that easy. But Vijay, over to you.
Yes. I'll just give a slightly different angle to this question.
Yeah.
You can kind of use AI without coding. What I mean
Okay.
here is there are a lot of AI services. There are a lot of services that are available on the cloud technologies. For example, on
Right.
AWS, you can do a face recognition. You can build a
Yeah.
chatbot in less than an hour. So there are
Yeah.
these kind of services which can be used. But to learn AI, you definitely have to learn programming. But to kind of use AI, you need not be a programmer.
Right. So, for example, if we are using an Alexa device at home, we are using AI, but we don't need to be a programmer to ask Alexa a question, even though that's using AI. So, if you want to be a developer for further technologies which are beyond what's already available in the market, yes, then you might have to go for AI. But if you want to start off and build tools with the existing, arsenal available, then you don't need programming for that.
Yeah.
Uh, Anmol Puri is saying, sir, please prepare a post of the courses you are mentioning with prior authors and platforms. So, sure, Anmol, I'll create a post where we'll list all the courses that digital marketers can do. Sai
Uh,
Virendra, yeah, sorry.
yeah. Go on, go on.
So, Sai Virendra is asking how AI is used in digital surgeries and healthcare industry.
Oh.
So, okay,
Yeah.
Vijay.
So basically, AI is like one of the most important application in the health industries. For example, like we already discussed, it is helpful for diagnosing the cancer, right?
Yeah,
Based on looking at some of the MRI images and scanned images, it can detect whether a person has a cancer at an early stage itself. So this can help a lot of lives. And when you go to the surgeries, right? It's again robotic process automation. So you can have robots in place which can do accurate, what do you call, accurate surgeries and stuff like that. So it's less prone to human errors and stuff like that.
right. So I'm just going to take another question from Saideep. His question is, how should I expand my skill set if I don't want to lose my digital marketing job? Uh, Saideep, it's okay if you want to learn new things. You don't have to quit your job for that. There's something called a part-time hustle, which is something you do after you've completed your job. That's how most of us work. We have our, that's how also Batman works. He has a day job and he has a nighttime vigilante job. So if Batman can do it, you can too. So what you have to do is you have to focus on your day job when you are, whatever job you are in. And I'm guessing it's a digital marketing job. But when you come back, that's, let's say you come back at 7 from your work. From 9 or 8 in the evening, till, let's say, 12 or 1, whatever your body clock allows you to. That's where you have to focus on upskilling and upgrading yourself. You could do online courses, you could practice whatever you have learned. So that's how it's to be done. So time isn't really an issue, the intent is the issue. So I think that would answer your question. Let's take another question from, hang on. Okay, there is so there's a question from which says, how can AI help in trading in equities and commodities? Vijay, do we want to take this?
Yeah, we can take it up. So basically, if you look at some of the historical prices of the stock markets or the shares of a lot of companies, right, AI would be able to kind of provide you a rough approximation of what would be the predicted price for the next day or something like that. But it's not quite accurate because, I believe the share prices are more driven on the psychological and the sentiment perspective. So that is kind of really hard to model inside an algorithm.
Yeah, there's too much chaos and randomness in that data.
Yes.
So there's a question from Shobha, sir, how can AI be applied in day-to-day life? So go ahead, Vijay.
Like we already discussed, there are lots and lots of applications that you can use AI. You can just talk to your phone on Siri or Google. That's AI. You're just using AI. Even when you take a picture, there's a lot of AI processing that's being done in the background, that kind of denoises it, kinds of make you look in a better way and stuff like that. There are lots and lots of things. Instagram itself is a huge application of AI in terms of recommendations and stuff like that. You kind of see AI starting from waking up until you sleep.
So Shobha, if you, to give you a simple example, when you upload a photograph on Facebook, it automatically detects your face and shows you recommendations of other people in your pictures and asks you to tag them. That's use of visual processing by AI. That's artificial intelligence in the most basic form. How else do you think it's recognizing who's this person in the picture? So that's AI. There's a question from Ajay. How will AI ML affect HR domain and HR jobs? So I'll quickly take this question. So Ajay, there is a lot of application already happening so think of an HR portal like Naukri or any other portal that think of it like an Amazon. So there is a customer, which is the candidate, and there is a job provider, which is the seller. Now, the recommendations that happen based on the entries you have done for what your profile is. So it goes through that, it creates a segmentation, then creates an analysis, who's the most relevant person for this job. If you look at LinkedIn these days shows you that, when a new job comes out, it shows that you are amongst the top 10% people who are good for this job. That's where, again, AI is helping recruiters connect with people. Vijay,
Yes, I would just like to add a few things on the top of that. I believe HR is one space that would be heavily disrupted by AI because a lot of the interviews that are happening these days, they are one-on-one interviews, right? Like a recruiter sits on the opposite side of the table and then you give an interview. A lot of these interviews can be video-based. A lot of these interviews can be video-based. I mean, like you can give a set of questionnaire and then random questionnaire, and then the interviewer can kind of ask these questions and the prospective candidate can kind of answer these. What happens is you can assess whether the customer was nervous, whether the candidate is optimistic about the role or something like that. You can do an emotional analysis of using AI. You can also kind of filter the resumes based on NLP. Like this is the job description that you have, and these are 1,000 resumes that have come against this resume. So you can kind of rank order these resumes and kind of say which are the top prospective candidates we can just interview with. So I think AI would kind of disrupt HR in a very prominent way, very big way.
Great. So there is a question from Kavita Jayaraman, 1975. Where do you see the position of e-commerce during and after the lockdown?
Yes. I just want to give an interesting example. I was told by a friend who lives in Seattle, and then there is a limit of Amazon orders of 57 per head per account. So that's a scale of online ordering that's happening on Amazon. So a lot of people are actually buying stuff online. I think it would kind of improve phenomenally. I think e-commerce is one such industry which is recession proof. What do you call crisis proof at this point of time?
Okay, so Shobha says, thank you for answering. You're welcome, Shobha. Sai Virendra, uh, the role of video analytics in driverless vehicles. I think this is something that we are looking at very soon in the future.
Yes, yes, yes. So self-driving cars is one of the biggest thing that kind of, made people realize, oh, AI is happening, right?
Yeah.
What I feel is there is something called as object detection, wherein a visual classifier will tell you, oh, this is a tree, this is a person, this is another car coming on the road, or this is a truck, this is the divider and stuff like that, right? So there is object detection in place, which would kind of help. So video analytics is extremely important because there is real-time video processing, and the AI model will tell you like these are the kind of objects that are present in front of the car, and then appropriately the AI model would take in whether to take a left, to take a right, or to go slow down, or to kind of speed it up. All these decisions are taken in real time based on the video analytics itself. But there are a few hypotheses or ambiguities regarding this. For example, if there is a person who is like an old person, let's say 60 plus, or if there are young children or something like that, and if the AI algorithm kind of fails, like who would be the person who would be killed and stuff like that. Let's not go into that. It's a dark discussion, but yeah.
So, there's a question from Modlin 23. So I'm just going to take a couple of more questions and then we'll wrap up this discussion.
Sure.
This was supposed to be 30 minutes, but we've gone to 60 minutes. But very valuable conversation happening. Thank you everyone who's been asking questions. It's lovely to have you. So Odlin is asking, can you please tell a step-by-step process to start a career in digital marketing with AI? So Odlin, we have already discussed how can you get started with AI and digital marketing in the conversation. I'll be sharing this on the Young Urban Project account. I'll share the whole live video so you can go through the conversation again. Again, just to summarize, we have mentioned a few courses that you could just start to get a taste of what AI is, and then based on that, there are advanced courses and how you can speak to someone that's already in the industry, both digital marketing and data science. There is an interesting question by Saideep. How can corona or similar virus be prevented using AI? And Vijay, I've already been reading some work that's been done in the AI domain for detection and further prevention of viruses and spread of viruses like this. What do you think?
I think it's still, AI is at a very nascent stage in terms of preventing such viruses. I think, I really don't have an answer for this at this point of time because AI is at a very nascent stage in terms of preventing the vaccines and stuff like that.
So just to add, if Saideep, if there is a lot of work going on in this direction to kind of do a prediction of the spread of the virus and how to contain it before it happens, so a preemptive kind of a measures, but it's too early.
Yeah, yes, yes. I can give one example. I think at the workplaces, there are a lot of people, a lot of employees who really travel really close, right? So there are social distancing utilities that can be built using AI. For example, in a workplace, if two people are really close, we can set an alarm so that this alert can be sent to the line managers or the HR and stuff like that. So that these two people are really close within they're violating the security protocols, right? So this is one area where we can prevent the further spread of the virus, whereby using social distancing tools. Also, there can be a visual classifier which can tell whether a person is wearing a mask or not before entering the workplace and stuff like that. So these are some of the cases that I feel it can be used to prevent it. But to prevent the vaccine or the spread of a new virus, I'm still not sure of how AI would it's still at a nascent stage.
So Vijay, the live is going to end in less than 2 minutes. That's all. Right. Instagram is showing us a timer. Karthik, sorry, we'll take this question on the story. We'll take your question, and any question that we have missed, we'll post them in the stories. Just to wrap up the conversation here and coming back to the actual topic, how will AI impact digital marketing careers? What we've discussed in this is that yes, AI is going to change how the digital marketing future looks like. It is going to impact a lot of jobs and roles which are repetitive and functional and operational in nature. But there are still a lot of strategic and creative roles which are going to be untouched by this, by AI. There will be a lot of efficiency that will come into digital marketing by eliminating human kind of errors and kind of human, the TATs, which is the turnaround times, will reduce. Yugansh is asking me, can you tell me the motive of Young Urban Guy, Young Urban Project? Yugansh, I'll take this up on my stories. But thank you everyone for coming for this live chat. This is the first one we've done, and hopefully we'll be doing more of these in the future.
Uh,
Sorry, Vijay, go ahead. We have
yeah,
20
yeah.
seconds left.
Oh, okay, all right. I would just like to add one thing. I believe rather than just the individual or rather than just the machine, it's better if they're together. Rather than man versus machine, I believe it's the synergy between man and machine that would be really helpful.
Great. That's on this parting thought. Thank you, Vijay, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
being a
you.
part of this. We'll do another live session. Send me a DM if you like this. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.